Wow, doing this at an earlier time, it's a lot different from doing it at a later time. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show. Usually we do this at 9 a.m. Today we're doing it at 7 a.m., at least Eastern time. And that is because I'm going to work early today, my day job, 9 a.m. I'm walking into work. Good news is that I'm doing the same time slot tomorrow, Thursday, and also on Friday because they need me to come into work early on Thursday and Friday. I'm not really excited about this, but, want to be a team player, right? You want to be a team player, and is that what they call it? Yeah, I'm not too happy. But here I am. Good morning, Tobin. Tobin Templeman. You're in Central Time, Tobin. How can you be up at this ungodly hour? It's I guess ungodly hour. I guess it is somewhat appropriate to be here when you think about it. Cryptameria. Good morning. All right, I'm just going to muddle through the news. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to start with Chuck Lindell, to tell you the truth. I want to talk about this lad, this gentleman here, who is a medical doctor. Links in the description below. Of course, everyone. Links in the description below. He is a anti-vaxxer. But here's a twist. He's also a creationist, too. How about that? Dr. Arthur Neal, medical doctor from Largo, Florida. Of course, Florida. ER doctor, creationist, anti-vaxxer in intensive care unit with COVID. What's funny about this? Now, those of us who are in the secular movement, we know that creationists, young earth creationists, come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, right? They really do. But if you're not part of the secular movement, it may seem strange that a medical doctor is actually a young earth creationist. And the site that I like to go to for this intro, the writer finds it difficult to wrap their mind around the fact that this gentleman is both a doctor and also a creationist. I'm just going to jump around a bit in this paragraph. Neal was a doctor, is a doctor of medicine who spent 35 years in Olney, Illinois. The writer seems that doesn't speak highly of Olney, Illinois. It's a quote unquote, it's one of the most backwater areas I've ever seen. And like most people in the region, he is very religious. He's so religious that he's a creationist. How on earth does a doctor of medicine become a creationist? I want to answer that question right now. I want to answer that question. Dr. Sam Harris gave this great metaphor about how our brains work, everyone. It's like they're like, remember a card catalog? Maybe like a table with many drawers, right? You can pull out a drawer and you get some stuff there, and then you push that back in, then you pull out another, like one drawer. If you're in a bureau situation here, you get some socks, and then you get some underwear and maybe drawer, and then you get some pants and shirts. Well, our brains are like that. You can put something really crazy in one of these little containers, push it back into the desk, and that could be creationism, while still be somewhat a functioning human being in all other aspects of your life. That's the analogy that Sam Harris uses, which I found useful, about how to explain how otherwise sane and rational people can have crazy ideas. Now, this person here, the person in question, he's not a sane and rational person, as we're going to see in his social media posts right here. Belief in evolution is nothing if not irrational. That is from, of course, the anti-vaxxer, who is now in the ICU. Then this is his social media post here. And if you'll note the bottom, It's from the Freedom from Atheism Foundation. That sounds totally legit, everyone. And here's the quote. To postulate a trillion other universes rather than one God in order to explain the orderliness in our universe seems to be the height of irrationality. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's actually saying that that's true. I don't think anyone is saying that it's necessary to believe in a trillion universes, right? That it's a necessity. What we are saying when we're talking from a skeptical viewpoint is that the answer is never magic. The answer so far, and so far, the answer to a question has never been God, right? Why does the sun rise in the east? Why does the sun set in the west? The answer isn't God. People used to think it was God, but it's not God. Here's another example from our friend who's now in the ICU. Once again, science does not support the Big Bang. Most distant, yeah, it's ridiculous. And this is just an example of the social media posts of this medical doctor. And isn't that scary? Isn't that scary that a medical doctor could be walking around with these insane ideas? And here's another bit of wisdom here from Dr. Neil Mack. Some people wouldn't know too. Oh, it's so ridiculous. You know, if you're so overly concerned about fairy tales, more so than skepticism, then I think you have a problem. 19 comments. I'm glad to see there's so many comments this early in the morning, everyone, because I am obviously not really fast in the gearbox right now. I'm just trying to get through this. Good morning, Tesla Ranger. Oh, see, I made the wrong buttons too. Blazing Wizard Pope. Good morning, Phoenix Hudson. Phoenix Hudson. That's like Hudson 2.0. Good morning, John Hudson. Hope you're doing well. Do wonder people die from getting, yeah. You know, you got to wonder about what kind of treatments this doctor was giving people when he was practicing medicine, right? You got to wonder what kind of quality care his patients were getting from this conspiracy theorist, creationist. And once again, it's important to point out that evangelical Christianity, right, the fundamentalist form of Christianity is, if nothing else, a conspiracy theory. Checking out some of the other comments. I need coffee. Me too, Tobin Templeman. Me too. I just had my first cup. Not doing the job. Not doing the job at all. Inquisitor Aiken is on the way. On your way to work. Good. All right. Blazing says creationist doctor. I'm trying to do my best. I don't even know what the proper voice for a creationist doctor would be. I prescribe a course of leeches. Okay, you want to do the next? You want to talk about Mike Lindell? Let's talk about Mike Lindell, everyone. Mike Lindell is our favorite Christian fundamentalist, fascist pillow maker, and this story is about his ongoing lawsuit, the $1.3 billion lawsuit against him from Dominion. Dominion, of course, is the company that ran all those voting machines back in the 2020 election that Donald J. Trump lost. And Mike Lindell went out of his way spreading lies about Dominion voting systems. And Dominion doesn't like it. They didn't like it. They said, listen, and the people who work for Dominion got a ton of abuse from the MAGA folks, and they are suing him. Well, now Mike seems like, oh, and here he is. I love this picture of Mike Lindell. He's about to do. It looks like some kind of karate chop. Looks like some kind of faith-based. Mike Lindell is the grown-up Karate Kid move right there. Mike Lindell's lawyers are dodging meetings for Dominion's defamation lawsuit and refusing to hand over discovery material, court documents show. Sometimes, now we've seen this with Alex Jones, sometimes some defendants don't want to show their documentation. The reason why they don't want to show their documentation is that it actually incriminates them even more. I wonder if that could be the case with Mike Lindell. That's just a guess on my part, everyone. Links in the description to the full stories below. In the intervening months, U.S. District Judge Carl J. Nichols, who's overseeing the lawsuits, denied motions from Lindell, Powell, and Giuliani to dismiss the lawsuits. This is the lawsuit from Dominion. Nichols also consolidated them into one case that will move to trial in tandem. Lindell has unsuccessfully tried to convince Nichols that he and MyPillow should be considered separate entities. And, of course, has countersued Dominion. Of course he countersued Dominion. Of course he countersued, because this is the first thing. You know, this is like People's Court, right? If anyone has ever seen People's Court. Like, there is the defendant. But the defendant, who obviously did something wrong, is countersuing. Because that's what you do when your hand is caught in the cookie jar. It's like, I'm not stealing cookies, you are. Okay. He's tried to convince the judge that he and MyPillow should be considered separate entities, and has countersued Dominion, its public relations company, Hamilton's Place Strategies, and Smartmatic, a separate election technology company, also ensnared in election conspiracy theories. To move the cases forward in September, Nichols, the judge, ordered all parties to meet and hash out a schedule for the discovery process and additional motions. According to the new filing, Dominion wants Lindell, Giuliani, and Powell to hand over documents related to the statements they made about Dominion in media interviews, as well as depositions. Lawyers for MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell are dodging requests to hand over discovery material for Dominion's $1.3 billion lawsuit. I'm just going to jump down a bit. Lindell and MyPillow's change in position on whether the court ordered and the parties engaged in scheduling conference, blah, blah, blah. Basically, Mike Lindell is not cooperating. And Mike Lindell is saying that basically, I'm going to take this to the Supreme Court, this being him being lumped in with Giuliani and Powell. And he's not going to give any kind of documentation to Judge Nichols until he resolves this matter. Now, we saw this with Alex Jones, with his lawsuit, one of his many lawsuits, that he refused to give over discovery materials. And what happens is that if a defendant refuses to give up documentation, then it's kind of like a default ruling against them, and the judge will just assign a penalty to, that's what happened with Jones's case, is that against some of the Sandy Hook parents, is that Alex Jones refused to give up documentation. And then the judge said, well, I'm just going to rule against you, and here's your fine. Checking out the chat. I hope that made sense to everyone. I hope that made sense. Hey, what's up, Phil Lister? I hope you're doing okay. Tesla Ranger. Forget evidence. Mike Lindell, when asked what evidence he had of stolen election. Yes, exactly. And what's up, 420 Atheist? And remember, Mike Lindell is also the person who wanted Donald J. Trump to declare martial law. He was like one of those people. He's like, listen, you got to declare, what a crazy person. All Licks Jones. Indeed, John Hudson. All right, so you want to do the halftime tummy rub show? Let's do the halftime tummy rub show, everyone. Right? This show lasts until 7:25 or so. And then we're doing the open room from 7:30 to 8, only a half an hour today, because once again, I got to go to work. So let's do the halftime tummy rub show.
I'm Jeremy, Operations Manager at City Pups. I'm always asked, why is a cat the store manager? It's simple, my humans are idiots. I make sure they keep paperwork and health records organized. Make sure they keep store clean and orderly. Most importantly, I personally ensure my customers are having a good experience. And let's make one thing totally crystal clear. A dog could never
Smack talking dogs. Well, that's what a cat would do, to tell you the truth. I think that's what a cat would do. Then a cat, if capable of talking, would smack talk canines. One cannot have too many tummy rubs. That's from your cat, Blazing. But yeah, I think a lot of cats would agree with that. Last story. What's the last story? Oh, hey, we're talking about hospitals use a lottery to allocate scarce COVID drugs for the immunocompromised. True story. Link in the description below. This is shocking because there are people who don't respond well to the vaccine, people who are immunocompromised. This is a drug that helps them. And the incredibly small amounts that is available of this drug to hospitals, it was shocking. Everyone, shocking. Last month, the FDA authorized Evusheld, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, a monoclonal antibody combination from the drug company AstraZeneca designed to give patients. This was a patient that was mentioned earlier in this story who is immunocompromised. For those who don't respond well to vaccines, Evusheld shots put COVID-fighting proteins directly into their bodies. Analysis by AstraZeneca completed last year showed that the drug reduced the risk of getting COVID-19 by 77%, and protection from a single 2-shot treatment lasted for 6 months. Early data suggests it may work less well against the Omicron variant, but it is still expected to offer some protection. So if you're immunocompromised, then this is an important therapy for you to have, right? However, how is this available to many people? No, not. It's shocking. Once again, at Mass General in Boston, the initial deliveries of Evusheld covered less than 1%. Read that again, Andy. The initial deliveries covered less than 1% of their immune suppressed patients, and came with little guidance on how to make fair use of a limited supply, says Dr. Camille Cotton, clinical director of transplant and immunocompromised host infectious diseases. So the hospital devised a 3-tier system to rank patients by medical need and to give patients in the top tier an equal chance. We put everyone's name in a lottery, she said. She explains, if people literally get their name pulled in the lottery, we bring them in for an injection. So let's say you're in the top tier of, people who really need this medicine. And basically you put your name in a hat. And I'm going to mix my metaphors here. And if you're lucky, you're going to get a golden ticket. And you get to be that 1% who gets the potentially life-saving medicine. Okay. Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota has a similar system with 5 tiers and randomized selections within them, says Dr. Raymond Reasonable, who runs their monoclonal antibody treatment system. It's basically by luck, he says. They happen to randomly be picked by a computer system. Raisable says it will likely take months for Mayo Clinic to get through the list of several thousand people in their most vulnerable tier. When capitalists talk about how efficient the market works, does it really? Does it really? I don't know. I don't know if the capitalist market system is like the nearly unstrained, the American style of American capitalism, whether or not that system is the most efficient of providing care. Probably not. Going to check out the chat before wrapping up the show. I want to see the messenger, the manager and pet him, right? Good morning, Facebook. So I can't see, obviously, the comments made on Facebook, but I cannot see who made them because of the software system I'm using. So if you want to join in on the chat, usually, you're going to, and so we see who you are. You can come over to YouTube, Laughing in Disbelief, and, join in the conversation. Okay. No pup bashing, John Hudson. All right. So once again, this show, I'm going to start closing down the show. We're going to be doing the open room. It's Daniel Fisk Bennett, skeptic extraordinaire. Oh, Daniel Fisk Bennett, haven't talked to you for a while. I hope you're doing well. So what? I'm going to start closing down the show. If you want to join for the after party, good morning, Holly. I hope you're doing okay. Right? Early time this morning is rough. I usually have 2 cups of coffee before doing the show. I'm on 1 cup of coffee, muddling through the show. It sounds like a song. I'm going to throw down a cat video. I'm going to drop a thank you video for YouTube members and patrons because, hey, everyone, there no ads, right? I'm not putting ads down. So support by people like you, right? Thanks. Cat video, then thank you video, and then I'll see you at 7:30.
Dingus documentary. Dingus was born. She was born in a boat. Soon after, we quickly learn that she has a passion for destruction and chaos. She showed up in early videos such as these, the Wildcat video, and the one where she got toilet paper on her feet. But the fame went to her head, and she started attacking and going all kinds of crazy.
Fetch me their souls!
She was later convicted of 36 war crimes in Bosnia. To work off her debt, she had to make biscuits, even until her feet got chewy. But she made a full recovery and now enjoys pieces of cheese and getting picked up for videos and stuff.